One of the weirder things I fantasize about is handling the deaths of people I care about. Like, when one of my aunts was very ill, I imagined the extremely moving eulogy I could deliver. I would talk about the meaning she had in our lives, what made her special and unique, and everyone would cry and laugh. In a way, I hate that I do this because I don't want these people to die, but there's a chance they will. I guess I want to be prepared so I can help others handle the deaths too. I can be that comfort for everyone in those times, and I feel a little pride in that. When I got with my girlfriend Tracy, I imagined being a support to her when her grandfather passed away. She was close to him. Without a father in her life, he had brought that stability. He was now in his 80s, having a lot of trouble with his heart, and every day there was a sense of today could be the day. I didn't want anything to happen to him. I hoped he'd live another decade if possible. Yet, I thought a lot about the ways in which I could be there to get her through it when he did. It's kind of a hero fantasy. It's also kind of a planning fantasy. Like, when you imagine how you'd escape a building if a crazed shooter showed up. You imagine the places you'd hide, exits you'd take, or you think about how you'd sneak and conceal your identity to steal something you want to steal from a store or home. All of my fantasizing put me in a good place to jump into action when we got the news that Grandpa Terry was on his deathbed. It was a matter of days. He was coming in and out of consciousness. During his lucid moments, he was talking and seemed in good spirits, they said. I barely knew Grandpa Terry. He'd been sick for years before I got with Tracy. She introduced me to him when we drove upstate once. He was a nice man. He still smoked cigars. He used to work in the jukebox business. Before he met Tracy's grandmother, he used to live with 2 women. He also claimed he got in a fistfight with Harry Belafonte. So Grandpa Terry was cool from what I saw. But I must have been just background noise to him, some guy dating his granddaughter for 3 months. When we got to the hospital, the 5th floor, where they put folks who are expected to die, we found Tracy's entire family had gathered. Some I'd met, and some had come from all over the country to give their farewell. Bringing in coffee pots and donuts to stay as long as they needed to stay, they'd practically taken over the sitting room on the floor. Tracy asked her mother what was going on. They were speaking in whispers, but I overheard bits, enough to get the idea. He had spoken to everyone as a group and now just wanted some peace. He had had the nurse bring his brother in for a one-on-one chat and his oldest daughter. That was it. Everyone had to wait outside ever since. I was stroking Tracy's hair and letting her talk about her feelings when the nurse stepped out again. As she walked down the hallway, every family member's head raised or swiveled to her as if wondering if they would be the chosen one to receive Grandpa Terry's last words. She walked past them all to me and Tracy. I tapped Tracy gently and smiled at her, but the nurse looked at me and said, "He wants to talk to you." I explained to her that I wasn't family and she had me mixed up with someone else. Tracy was readily agreeing with me and looking around for who I could possibly have been mistaken for. "You're Douglas?" the nurse asked. When she saw me nod, she added, "Come along." I followed her, sure that she was making a mistake and I would have to come awkwardly walking back out in a few seconds. I saw the family members staring at me with incredulity and maybe resentment. If it wasn't a mistake, then I assumed I would be getting threatened with haunting if I didn't treat Tracy right. The nurse opened the door slightly, enough to allow me to squeeze in, then entered behind me, shutting the door. Inside, Grandpa Terry was propped up in bed wearing a fancy red smoking jacket. He had a strange look about him. His skin seemed stiff and his eyes an empty black. He was like a wax figure of himself or a ventriloquist's dummy. His feet stuck straight up in their hard-soled slippers. Other than his eyes and his mouth, his body didn't move. It was just dressed and propped there. "Douglas," he said in clear but weakened voice, "have a seat." Well, now I knew it was me he wanted at least. "Douglas, I've been wanting to talk to you about your ASMR videos." Of all the things he could have said to me at that moment, that wasn't even on the radar. For one, I don't talk about my ASMR videos. I didn't want anybody knowing. I hadn't even told Tracy or my friends. So, how did he know about them? 2, how did this old man who still had a landline phone and used a typewriter to send letters know about ASMR videos at all? "Yes, sir," was what I managed to say. "They make me feel strange things, Douglas." "What do you mean?" I asked. "Your ASMR videos make me feel strange things, Douglas. Things I'm not supposed to feel. I'm scared of these strange things I'm feeling watching your videos, Douglas." I looked over to the nurse to see if she would intervene or explain. The nurse stood impassively in the corner of the room with a towel over one arm. She resembled more a bathroom attendant. Her presence unnerved me further. "Yes, I talked to the nurse about ASMR, and she has told me that I am supposed to feel a pleasant, tingling sensation that starts at my scalp. When I watch your ASMR videos, I don't feel a pleasant tingling sensation that starts at my scalp. When I watch your ASMR videos, I feel strange things I can't explain or describe. Like that feeling when you say a word so many times it doesn't sound like the right word anymore, but about everything. Worse and stranger. These are strange things, Douglas. Strange things to feel. They make me afraid." "I'm sorry," I said. "I'm not supposed to feel these strange things watching your videos, Douglas. I'm not supposed to feel these strange things ever, I don't think. I'm not supposed to have these feelings. Your ASMR videos make me remember things I haven't remembered since I was a little boy. It has been so long since I remembered these things. I only know they're memories because it's all so familiar. If they aren't memories, how can it feel like I've been there? If they aren't memories, how are these places in my head, these places and things I remember give me those strange feelings, Douglas?" The nurse still stood with the towel saying nothing. I didn't like the things Grandpa was saying, and I didn't like that I had no support in this room from the only professional. "I don't think I can help you, sir," I answered. "Maybe just watch someone else's videos?" "No, you did something in those videos to make me feel strange things. Why? What did you do?" I stood up to leave. I felt at this point I should get the family involved. I was only agitating a poor dying man. This man had fist-fought Harry Belafonte. He shouldn't be arguing with me about ASMR videos. "I need to go further in," he said. "Your videos take me part of the way, to where I'm slipping between, a bit awake and a bit asleep. That's when these memories and strange feelings come down. It's sudden, like my head nodding as I'm falling asleep. Just like when my head nods, it makes me snap back out. I lose it. It's just a hazy impression. I need to go further in, Douglas. I don't have much longer. If I die now, if I die without going in, I need you to do your ASMR to help me." There was a knock on the door. I heard Tracy asking, "Is everything okay in there?" The nurse sprang like a bear trap, darting across the 12 feet or so to the door, and announced, "Everything is fine, ma'am. Please don't disturb the patient any further." I heard a stifled sob, I think, but there were no further disturbances. The nurse remained at the door, effectively blocking me if I tried to escape. "I can show you my other videos, sure, but wouldn't you rather spend your last moments with your family? They're out there." "I know, Douglas, I know," he said in an agonized voice, "but I can't do that until I understand." I pulled out my phone and was getting YouTube up when he said, "Come over here and pretend you're applying makeup on me. There's a makeup kit in the drawer there, the nurse got it." I walked over to the stand he was pointing out. In the drawer, I found a compact with some different eyeshadow colors, foundation in a few skin tones, blush and bronze, 2 different sizes of brush, some eyebrow pencils, mascara and lipstick in the shade Pina Colada. "Take me further in, Douglas," Grandpa Terry said. I felt really weird about this. I felt trapped because it seemed like this was a man's dying wish, but it's like he had this planned. How did he know I would even be here? Tracy asked me at the last minute. She said she had intended to go with her sister. How long had he been waiting for this? Plus, he was an old man who had done manly stuff all his life. I didn't want to pretend to apply makeup on him. It was weird. Maybe I should just do a fake eye exam or just bring that stuff over here, set it on my belly and start, he said, his patience clearly wearing thin. I did as he asked, loading up the items and setting them gently on the old man's smoking jacket. I looked over to the nurse at the door to see if she was watching me. She was still facing the door. The old man looked up at me expectantly. It was like someone asking you to sing in front of them when you just don't do that. "Let me see what we got here first," I said. This was something I liked to do in my videos. Take my time, handle objects, examine them. Some folks get the tingles from that. Grandpa nodded. "Got some nice colors in here," I said to myself, about the eyeshadow set. I started reading off some of the color names. On I went, examining each item, reading off ingredients, muttering this and that. Then I told him I would start with applying a foundation layer. I think he'd entered some kind of trance. He seemed to be looking through me. I'm in a strange town, an older part of town, wrong side of the "don't stop, please." I was so shocked to hear him start speaking. I had stopped what I was doing to listen. I went back to pretending to apply foundation to Grandpa Terry and explaining how important it is to get a nice, even coat. I don't know if that's true. With ASMR, reality doesn't matter. "Let me ramble, I'll ramble, and you roleplay." Yes, I know this place, where the concrete is crumbling under an abandoned overpass and along the old off-ramp a little shop. What is this shop? It's so late, why is it still open? Who comes to this place? The images of the place he described rose vividly into my mind like long-forgotten memories. Vivid, yet strange, disconnected from the vast body of memories that form my regular biography. I must have seen this place somewhere before, it felt so familiar. What was this place he was describing? I didn't like this. I was getting nervous, but I got out the eyebrow pencil and kept making motions in front of the entranced face. The inside has a nice wood flooring. Unusual flooring for this place. Merchandise placed tidily on shelves. What are they selling? What is this merchandise? There are a few customers inside looking at the merchandise. A woman is behind the counter. Nobody notices me. They aren't right. Is this a memory? I feel like I can move. Move on my own. There's a dark corner with something valuable. I should go to it. Make me go further, Douglas. I laid it on thick, making swish sounds with my mouth as I swiped with the eyebrow pencil and murmuring to myself. I leaned in closer to his ear and said something about eyebrows. "Douglas," he shouted, his voice tinged with chilling levels of alarm. "They see me now. Oh no, I can't go, I mustn't move, oh God, they're all looking at me." I tried to tell him he's fine and safe, but he continued, "What is this place? They say I shouldn't be here. Douglas, they heard you too. They can see you. How? Douglas, stop moving. Stop for the love of God." I stopped instantly. I felt a cold shiver, nothing like ASMR, run through me. My foreboding had culminated dread. What Grandpa described felt real. I can't explain it, but I could almost see it. "They're coming! They're coming! They're coming!" he blurted in panic. "Douglas, help me get out of here. I can't get out. Help! They're mad at us. More makeup." I looked to the nurse, hoping she would inject him with a sedative. He clawed the air for my help. I hastily pretended to apply lipstick to him, making little pop sounds with my mouth and feeling stupid the whole time. "I'm at a high-rise now," Grandpa Terry said, much calmer now. "It's being converted to apartments. There's a crane machine far away. Nobody's here. It's brown. I take an elevator up to a high-up floor, but not the top." "It's the 35th floor, isn't it?" I asked on impulse. I remembered this place too. I don't remember remembering it before just then, but I was sure I'd seen it. "I feel strange," Grandpa Terry said. "Me too," I said. "We should stop." "No. Please, I need to go further in, please." With a sigh, I started swishing eyeshadow. There's no way we could both have vague, distant memories of these very particular places. I'd had dreams of this place. Glimpses, somehow. I felt like we were messing with something we shouldn't be. Yet I continued. This floor is unfinished. I enter one of the apartments, 26, to look around. Windows haven't been installed. Plastic sheeting blows inward. It's so dark in here. It's a long apartment. One long hallway with a few little rooms, modern. Down that one way there's the bathroom, I think. I need to use the bathroom. This room's closed. The door is closed. I felt a wave of dread that made my limbs weak. I fumbled the eyeshadow, dropping it on Grandpa Terry, making a dusty mess on his smoking jacket. I expected him to yell at me, but he didn't seem to notice. I grabbed the mascara and made some swishes. "Someone's on the other side of this door," he said. Grandpa made a long ee sound that chilled my blood. "Someone's in there," he half squealed, half whispered. "I'm sure of it. I feel someone on the other side of the door waiting. They've been waiting. It wants to harm me. It wants us to open the door, to harm us. It knows we're here. They know what I'm saying and what we're thinking. The person on the other side of the door knows things. It wants to hurt us real bad." I'd started shaking Grandpa Terry to snap him out of it. I hoped he was crazy, but I was trembling and deeply disturbed by what he was saying. This place was real. "We shouldn't be doing this, Douglas. I was wrong. We're in danger." "I'm not doing this anymore," I shouted. "No more ASMR, snap out of it." I didn't even care if his family heard and came running. I just wanted him to knock it off. Nobody did come running, though. Even the nurse just kept her post at the door. I'll walk away, and maybe it'll stay there in that closed room. Just stay there forever waiting. Maybe it can't open the door. Maybe they'll just stand there for all time. Just like before. No, they won't wait much longer. I need to go. "Come on, drop it, old man. You're freaking me out," I shouted. It knows we're right here. It won't let me just go. It's going to come out. It's something from outside. Help me get out, Douglas. More ASMR, cranial nerve exam, quick. "This is insane," I said. "I won't." Grandpa Terry's eyes opened wide and he started to scream. Blood formed in the corner of his eyes. I looked to the nurse and demanded she help him. She handed me a stethoscope and a pen. I was desperate and maybe she knew something. I don't know, medical benefits of ASMR. I did it. I started moving the pen around in the air, asking him to follow it with his eyes. "Oh, thank God," he sighed, and I could feel it too. We had transitioned somewhere else. I'm not sure how I knew, but I knew. "We're in a department store," he said. "After hours. So dark in here. I haven't been here since I was a kid, but it's different now, deeper. How'd it get deeper? There's still people here shopping." Oh no, they're all here. Have to keep going." I moved my fingers in and out of his view frame, pretending he was telling me, "Stop," when he saw my fingers and telling him, "Good." I struggled to do this while my hands shook and I felt sick inside. I knew this place. I'd seen it. I'd been there as a kid too, and I dreamed of it. It had gotten deeper. It was a bad place. He had to get outside quick. "I'm going to go outside. Have to get outside. It's at the far end, the deepest." "Good," I said. "Good. Now sharp or dull." "I found the doors," he announced after minutes of quiet panic. "I'm going out into the parking lot, so dark. A few cars in the dark, and streetlights. Nothing beyond. Dark everywhere, some grasses, and a gas station far, far away. Not really there. We made a mistake, Douglas. They're out. They're coming out. They know. They see you looking at you through me, those cold, empty eyes. These weren't memories." I threw the stethoscope against the wall. I began making as many loud, obnoxious noises as I could. hitting the metal frame of the bed, coughing, anti-ASMR sounds. I heard the door open. I expected the family to come charging in, wondering what I was doing to the family patriarch. In fact, the sound was just the nurse leaving. She gingerly shut the door behind her. When I turned back, Grandpa Terry was dead. His eyes were frozen in terror. Trickles of blood ran from the corners and from his ears. I backed to the door and left the room. I had to go tell this family now that Grandpa Terry died while I, practically a stranger, spent his last moments. But I didn't have to. Nobody was there. His family had just left. It was inexplicable. Where had they gone? Where was the nurse? I checked the sitting room. Nobody was there, just the boxes of donuts and tanks of coffee. I asked at the desk and nobody knew what I was talking about. All they cared about was one of their patients was now dead. I texted Tracy to let her know her beloved grandfather had just passed while she wandered off. She never answered. She never returned my calls. Ever. She disappeared from my life. From everything, social media, all of it. She was just gone. I never saw or heard from her or her family again. I couldn't understand it. I stopped making ASMR videos after that. I haven't stopped watching them, though. Sometimes I dream of these places still. Places like the ones Grandpa Terry described. But it's okay. He was right. The videos aren't enough to get deep. I keep feeling like maybe someday I'll see the old man in there, and sometimes I think I feel him just around the corner, but deeper. And I feel a warning that we went too deep. What did you think of Grandpa Terry's chilling last request? Do you feel the pull of those eerie, forgotten places, too? If this story left you questioning what's just around the corner in the dark, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. But don't stop here. There's so much more lurking in the shadows. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll never miss another journey into the unknown. Because in the world of Creepypasta, the deeper you go, the harder it is to come back. And trust me, we're only just scratching the surface. Thanks for watching, and remember, some doors should never be opened.